are actually coming to talk today about our coming out story.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
But one of our good friends actually let us know, like, hey, I haven't seen a coming out story from you all. And that's something we hadn't thought about, but was a really good idea.
This is true. She was right.
So I have a couple notes on the phone, so you'll see me periodically look down. But first, I think Sequina's going to talk about her coming out story.
So my coming out story, this was about maybe in 90.
Tell your age.
8 maybe. I didn't really get a chance to come out, back in the day, you in class, you write letters. That was just our way of communicating. You write letters, fold them all a little cute way or whatever, keep them in a letter box. So in my particular situation, me and my best friend at the time or whatever, we were trying some things out, and it was definitely trial and error, because it wasn't like, first time things happened, I wasn't all gun. I was like,
There you go, have it.
I don't know. So, but then it kind of got serious. We started writing letters and things like that, keep them in the letter box. And then on a particular day, they said that the letter was found, but we believe that her stepfather was lurking. He went through her letterbox, pulled out a letter. So I'm upstairs in my house at the time, and I think my mom called me downstairs, and her whole family was there. Like, it was a family meeting. Mind you guys, I cannot see. I ain't grabbed my glasses, so I could barely see what's going on, like barely. So at the time, she was getting ready to move to Atlanta, and she was gonna finish out the school year to stay with me. So, we thought we was one up, but we got busted,
So that didn't end up happening.
No. Needless to say, they cut off all communication. They said we couldn't talk on the phone, do anything. She moved like almost immediately. And I remember, I don't know how my grandfather then found out. I'm pretty sure my mom told him. So the next day, he comes and approached me like, you need to fix this. You can't be gay. Like, okay, I love my grandfather. Like, that hurt my feelings
really
more than anything. But then, later on, he came back and apologized, and he just said that he loves me. So, I really didn't get a chance to be able to communicate and tell people and express my feelings to my parents. It was kind of just brushed upon me. But at that time, in that era, it wasn't really accepted as it is today. But, as you guys see now, I have a lot of love and support from my family.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
It's not my turn, is it?
Mm-hmm.
My coming out story, it's not as interesting, I don't feel like, as Sequina's. Mine, when I was growing up, I'm talking maybe in high school, I always felt like I felt differently about women, because I would just sit and think about, like, well, I wonder what she smells like. Well, her hair smells good. And I remember expressing this to my friends, like, hey, I think I look at women a little bit differently than everyone else. But then my friends were like, no, that's pretty normal. That's not a big deal. So I never thought it was a big deal. And so I went about my life, a little background about me. I know we've talked about it before. I was in a long-term relationship, so I never had that experimentation time, like to really figure things out. And then one day I just meet the love of my life and everything just makes sense. And I'm like, okay, this works. So when I first met Sequina, it just wasn't, I do remember there were some times, because I met her at 20, I do remember that there were some times where I would sit and think like, oh my goodness, like this is different, this is new. But I don't want to attribute that completely to her being a woman, because a lot of it was just us getting to know each other and us just being different people coming from different places. So my friends, of course, they met Sequina. I didn't hide anything. I'm a very open person. I'm the type of person that if I don't tell you what I'm up to, I feel like I'm lying. So all of my friends met Sequina. They kind of went through it with me. My mom went through it with me. It wasn't a thing like, hey, mom, I'm gay. No, it was just like, hey, mom, this is Sequina. And then sometimes when you introduce Sequina, then people assume, and, in this...
They're like, wait, hold up. Did I miss something?
Come again? So there was this one time where it was maybe my 23rd birthday, and I brought her to one of my family members' house. That was my coming out, because after I left, I felt my ears ringing. What is that when when people are talking about you? You know how families, I don't know, especially Southern families, when you got some old folks, when somebody calling somebody that next morning, did y'all hear such and such and such and such? Yes, happened. Completely, totally. So those concerns got back to me. But really, it was just from one person. Everyone else who met Sequina fell in love with her when they met her. My mom's been very supportive. I mean, so that was good. There are some people who, if I had to do my coming out story over, just because I actually did have a chance, unlike Sequina, I probably would have had that conversation with people. Just because in my head, I was just bringing Sequina around because it was my life and it was normal for me. Like, this is who I love, this is who I'm gonna bring around, whatever. If she had been a man, I would have brought that person around. Whoever I love, that's who I'm bringing around to my family. So I didn't feel the need to have a conversation with people. And some people felt that I took that away from them. Because I guess, like, if you talk to someone, they can have that shock factor without the person actually being there. Versus, like, I walk in, I'm like, hey!
They probably was
like, what?
Who
So
that?
that's something that I might have done differently. And some people feel that because I didn't look gay or talk about being gay or talk about women growing up, that this is just something that popped out of nowhere. So that's why my coming out story is just a little bit different, because I wasn't caught.
Yeah.
I waved my flag proudly, like, hey. No, but I was grown also by the time. Like, Sequina was
Yeah,
grown.
I was still in high school. I was in the 9th grade, so.
Right. So I was out of the house by then,
Yeah, so
doing what I want to do.
she had a little bit easier than I did, but you know.
Yeah, and then also I'm always interested in when femmes come out versus when more masculine women come out, and what's the difference? Because I'm guessing with Sequina, there was a time where you started dressing
Yeah,
differently.
we show signs. I was into basketball, so you know, I already dressed like the tomboy, you know.
Right.
It was kind of leading to it, like, you know. I had little boyfriends, but you know, I think I was attracted to men at the time because, like, they had clothes that I wouldn't wear. Like, he could dress, like, his shoes are dope, like, I like that. So that would draw the attraction, but it was nothing like intimate or any like feelings like that there.
Yeah. So I know one of the worst reactions I had was from the family member I was talking about, and them judging Sequina. And the thing is that I feel like everything happens for a reason, because the comments that this person made, it brought me and Sequina together closer. I think it brought her and a couple of her family members closer, because we all kind of rallied, like, you're not going to do that. Like, you're not going to look at someone and judge someone based upon how you perceive them. So that, in turn, it definitely did make us stronger.
Yes.
But that was one of the worst reactions, and just the total judgment with me, like, oh, Jamila's going through some things, so this is just her outlet of how she's expressing her depression or anxiety or whatever. And it wasn't true, because how many years later and we're still here,
Right. So
married.
people are gonna stereotype things
Yes.
regardless in life, and you know, for us masculine women, we get stereotyped, you know, a lot in our community, just like our transgender people, bisexual people, like, you know, those are heavy targets, you know, in our life, but you know, we got to deal with it, you know.
Yeah. So people coming out today, I know we hear a lot of some people saying that they're afraid to come out, or they're maybe in a country or a situation where they're not comfortable. So I totally understand that. I think coming out is everyone's personal choice. I don't think anyone should be brought out the closet. But for me, it's hard for me to keep a secret. Not other people's secrets, I'm going to keep them, but me personally, I lived my life, I lived my truth. So that was just something I didn't need to come out. This was just who I am, and this is who I'm going to be. But that may not work for everyone else. But I do feel that when you do come out, just have a conversation with someone. Because when I talk to people, the question is usually, well, how did this happen?
Communicate your feelings, where they started, like, you know, enlighten them on the situation. Because 9 times out of 10, if you are in a position where you're struggling to come out, it is probably because of societal norms or your family, whether you guys are in a religious background and things like that. But at the end of the day, you got to live your truth. Like, I think so many people waste so much time trying to live by other people's standards. And I mean, I understand, I get it. There's so many things tied into that. And, you know, at a certain extent, you're going to feel like you can't be selfish. You know, it can't always be about you. You can't live your life. You got to be considerate of your loved ones and things like that. But start having these conversations, even if it's with, you know, a friend. Just let them know, like,
someone.
You got to start having these little conversations, so it'll build up and you'll be more comfortable. And then, you know, one day, I'm coming out.
Yes,
I want the world to know.
Just because it's some people who they're wondering why they can't find love, or why they can't do this or can't do that, and sometimes it's because you're not portraying your true self to attract someone else that's true.
Bingo. I love that.
Yeah, because you can't expect to get anything from the universe that you aren't giving yourself.
Yep.
So that's.
You said that, babe.
Thank you, babe. So yeah, so anyone who's struggling with coming out, let us know. We wish you, or if you don't want to let us know, that's fine. But we definitely wish you many blessings. These conversations are conversations that need to be had. It shouldn't just be like oh, I'm gay and that's it. I totally push for having genuine conversations with people, because when I met Sequina, it wasn't, some people say, oh, when I first kissed someone, that changed my life. It was just her being, like her as a person, like the way I felt, not physically, I mean, but the way I felt around her, and that just, it didn't matter, you know, what she had or did not have between her legs. It was just what she made me feel on the inside.
Right. So either way, if you guys are struggling with coming out, and you know that's one day that you'll never come out, just make sure you have an outlet. Make sure you have a close friend that you can be transparent with, because you don't want to keep that all up inside, you know, it'll drive you crazy. So just at least start small, like I said, have conversations with your close ones, your loved ones, your best friends. Just have someone that you can be transparent. You know, living your truth, find you a friend, find a game plan, come out of that closet.
Yeah, live your life with purpose and intention.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Bye.